Hello.
Ah, yes. Kenobi, the limited series that hopefully ended very recently, and hopefully we don't get any more. Now, this show was terrible, like absolutely awful. There wasn't a single competent character in the entirety of the show. Everyone gets destroyed, even Palpatine. He's only on screen for less than 30 seconds, and he's still incompetent. That's all beside the point. The point of this video is pointing out what some might consider a nitpick. I think it's more significant than that. I think that it has real ramifications on the plot, but I want to point it out and explore why it may have happened. So, in this scene with Darth Vader and Kenobi, when they're fighting, Darth Vader does this move where he and Obi-Wan are locking swords, and then Vader takes his sword and pulls it back and then hits Kenobi's sword and does this repeatedly. And I feel that it's an important distinction. The reason why I'm calling these swords and not lightsabers is because that's how the show treats them. Mahler used the term baseball bat, but essentially they don't slice through things anymore. They sort of hit things, lightly cut things. But this move doesn't make any sense, at least not in this context. See, when the two swords are locked, the reason why that's happened is because both opponents are pushing against one another. Both Obi-Wan and Vader are trying to strike each other, and so their swords are locked. If Vader pulls his sword back, Obi-Wan's will move forward into Vader. So Vader shouldn't be doing that because it doesn't make sense. But because of the way the show did this, for whatever reason, Kenobi is simply holding his sword there, not actually pushing against it. Now, the show does this another time in a flashback between Obi-Wan and Anakin, and here it's a little better because Obi-Wan is supporting himself on the ground, and he is merely using his saber to block. Now, why Anakin does this move still doesn't make sense, because in this fight, they are clearly training. Anakin is not trying to kill Obi-Wan, and repeatedly bashing on Obi-Wan's sword does not help Anakin to win this training thing. Now, I mean, he wasn't going to win anyways because Kenobi sort of just changes the rules until he wins, but moving aside from that, there is a place where they got this from. There's a reason why this move exists, because this isn't a move that someone would do naturally. They pulled this from somewhere, and if you know, then congratulations, but if not, here's where they pulled it from. That's right, Return of the Jedi. One of the most emotionally impactful moments of the entire Star Wars saga. Now, why does Luke do this in this moment? Well, because he's giving into anger and to hate. He's doing what the Emperor wants him to do, and Luke stops himself after he cuts off Vader's hand and realizes that he's becoming exactly what Vader is and exactly what Palpatine made Anakin into. And so then Luke decides to stop. However, in this scene, the reason why this is allowed to happen is because Luke is trying very hard not to kill Vader. He didn't want to fight Vader in the first place, much less kill him. However, he's becoming extremely upset and defensive and is now attacking Vader. And Vader is weak in this moment and is defending himself. So their sabers were not locked, and they were in a position where Luke could do this move, and it makes sense because of all the different character motivations. However, and this is pure speculation on my part, but I'm pretty sure that the Kenobi writers and director, they probably saw this moment and went, ah yes, a dark side move. Let's have Vader do that, because he's on the dark side. And so that's what dark side people do. It's a lot like when a lot of normies will see Luke at the beginning of Return of the Jedi, and he chokes the Gamorrean guards to get into Jabba's palace, and a lot of normies will see that and they'll go, whoa, Luke's using Force Choke. That's a dark side power. It's like, well, no, not really. It's just not a thing that we see the Jedi do a lot. But, I mean, Force Choke is just another way to use the Force. It's not a special ability in and of itself. And I think that this is indicative of a lot of the mistakes that the Kenobi writers made. I think that a lot of the time they took something that they didn't understand and they chose to put it in, not because they should, but because they could. That may come from Jurassic Park, but nevertheless, it's applicable here, and it's been on my mind for a little bit. You may see a video come out sometime in the future talking about that franchise, but wrapping up this short little video on Kenobi, I don't really want to talk about Kenobi. I think it's just sad, frankly. I mean, it was the last real, big property that Disney could have adapted or could have made in their Star Wars universe, and they still didn't care. And in fact, this one, the writing's so bad that things aren't even lampshaded anymore. I mean, the Grand Inquisitor, he's just alive. They don't lampshade that with, well, somehow he returned. He's just there. He's just alive. Hello. And, yeah, I think that this was a terrible series with just about terrible things everywhere all around, and it's a real shame. So if you enjoyed this video, hope you did, make sure to like, subscribe, comment your thoughts down below, do all the stuff, hit that bell. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.